Right, let's get started. Hello. Um, how's everybody doing? How's things? How's the universe? How's your week been? Oh, let me shut Thunderbird quickly. Quickly. Oh, made it. All right, good. Um, ba, 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 ba. There we go. Um, Hello. How is everybody doing? Alive? Yeah, good. Awesome. Hello. Put that there, and then it might incentivize me to sit. Is that on Twitch? Yes, there we go. Hello, John. How you doing? How's things? Um, uh, I mean, quite. I've had to stop taking the chemotherapy, um, because oh wait, these are glass balls. Oh, I didn't realize. It's like a tiny little glass ball of drugs. Nice. Oh, it's because the other one was plastic. Um, Hello, Joe. Currently sat in my car waiting for a daughter or emergency dental appointment. Wonderful. How fun. Hello, Simon. Hello, Luca. Um, well, the hoodie is satirical in nature. They sent this to me during the Rocket Lake launch. Cool pattern. Um, and I figured today was a was an apt day to wear it. um, yeah. Uh, you'll be happy to know though that I do have, which side is it on? The at the wheel t-shirt underneath, and when I get too warm in about 5 minutes, I'll take it off. But I thought it was too funny an opportunity not to wear it. So yeah. Um, I look well. I'm good at faking it. No, actually, I'm back on the steroids because I accidentally rushed a couple of days. Um, so yeah. Uh, Patrick, howdy from Illinois. How you doing, man? How's things? Good to have you. Um, I noticed hiding the infamous white shirt. Hey, it's as white as I am, which is very. um, Speaking of Intel, wow, what an absolute shambles. Well, so here's the thing. I have another video coming out, hopefully tomorrow. I have actually finished writing the script and I need to film and then edit it. So hopefully I can get that out tomorrow. Where I actually compare the 265K. I don't really know how to say it. 265K? I don't know. Anyway, the U7. I'm not gonna call them the Ultra 7. It's a U7. The U7 part, against the i7 14700K, the Ryzen 7 9700X, and the 7800X 3D, which were wonderfully provided by CyberPower, system integrator here in the UK. Because Intel never sent me a 14700K last year, and AMD never sent me either any of the X3D chips ever, or any of the ninth gen stuff. So luckily, CyberPower to the rescue, and they sent me a wonderful system that I'll be doing a write up of on the website at some point soon. Um, yeah. Uh, Hello, a trooper. I don't know why I didn't say ish. I read trooper first. Hi-ish. I want to stop playing with my bottle of chemotherapy now. that I'm not taking anymore because it made me sick. um, I'm pondering buying a spare helmet. Don't really have anything to ride pillion with me. Don't really need it, but it's cheap-ish currently, and you never know, right? Why though? Because you need to replace helmets every couple of years because the foam degrades. Um, Hello Jim, how you doing? How's things? But yeah, so sorry, I have that video hopefully coming out tomorrow. Um, the the interesting thing is that I had to retest the 265K because I did not believe the results. I didn't I didn't believe them. Because it is, as the title of tomorrow's video will tell you, it's a bloodbath. At least for gaming, not good. And so yeah, it's gonna be interesting. Also, it seems like I'm one of the few people with the U7 part instead of the standard reviewers kit, which is the 9 and the 5. So yeah, gonna be interesting. Uh, is there other chips in the line that are more gaming aimed? No, this is it. Well, okay, technically speaking, they have left room in the naming scheme for a 290 and a 270 and a 250. These are all like 45, 65, and 85, which if we think back to previous generations, the 10850K, which came out after the 10900K, was basically a 10900K that couldn't hit the same boost frequencies. So the implication in the naming scheme is that these are the, half step down from what's best class. And, there could maybe be another one. We don't know. However, it doesn't seem like at least in the current iteration of the platform, that there is much to do about it, about the performance deltas, it seems. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Oddball, thank you very much. Glad to have you. Luca got my OMP helmet still. Nice. I still have mine from my motorcycle. I did window shop at a nice HJC what you call it? Aramid plus fiberglass one. That's not crazy money for being real fancy and real cool. But yeah. Such a strange move for them, isn't it? Well, the thing is that, like, Intel has decided that they have to launch a new chip every year, a new product line every year, which is how we get the 14900K, right? Which is just the 3900K. Like, there's no playing games here. The 14th gen does not exist. It is a paper product because the 13th gen just got relaunched. That's all that happened. So the fact that they have launched these chips now, when it certainly seems like, they're not exactly ready. Why they had to launch them now, why they couldn't just, You know, I, I really like. I really don't get this whole like shareholder capitalism thing, because the argument that a lot of companies make for why they must do the crazy and bad things that they do is, well, the shareholders will be upset if we don't. What makes a shareholder more upset? Pushing a product launch that you know to be not ready yet out, and then tanking stock values because, you know, you're launching products that aren't even better than your last generation of products uh, in like a lot of ways. Um, or taking a minor hit from the fact that you haven't followed your same like history and or your same pattern, and then like launching stuff when it's ready and like building value in the company, you know. Does that not seem, you know, it's like the whole enshittification process, like with, I don't know, Reddit as an example. Why do things that actively hurt um your business, like Reddit's business is being, you know, a content platform. Why do things that hurt your ability to be a content platform to make a quick buck when the whole like what matters is your longevity? What matters is you existing in 5 years. And yeah, I really don't understand that. Um, the Ento hoodie, is it heated? It's certainly ironic, yes. No, I thought it'd be a good gag to be wearing this today while saying that Intel is it's on a bad path. Oh, ow! I ripped a hole in my finger. Don't ask. Um, Shareholders love companies destroying their rep for a fast buck. Yeah, that's the thing. I really don't understand. Like, because what, it's not even the shareholders themselves that are doing it. It's not like Intel held a vote and said, you know, do you, the shareholders, want us to release a new product line every 12 months, and then everyone voted yes because, you know, profits, right? Like the it is almost always the companies themselves that choose to do these things, at least in the name of shareholder value, like at least short-term shareholder value. But like, who cares about someone who's only going to be invested in you for like a week while you're, you know, pumping yourself up to then, you know, exit out and make whatever little profit you want? Like, who cares? The people who are actually your long-term shareholders, and arguably the stakeholders, like your customers as well, like those people kind of matter too. Uh, Intel hoodie with an AMD t-shirt underneath. I don't have any AMD t-shirts, otherwise that would be very funny. It is my own uh, t-shirt brand underneath. Um, these days people just release stuff and fix it later. It's not like back in the day we had to burn all the CDs again with a software in game. I have thought about that, especially in relation to gaming, and it is kind of funny, isn't it? I mean, it's also kind of funny that like even with my own products, like the open source response time tool and the open source latency testing tool, that is essentially the philosophy that I use. Like I actually expressly rejected when I was coming to design. I think it was, which one was it? One of the other tools, part of the design process. It might have been the latency tool. When I was picking what microcontroller to use for that, I was looking at STM32s. But the problem is that with STM32s, you either need an interposer chip or to flash the firmware, you need to like hold the boot select button, and then tap reset, and then it goes into the DFU mode. But for me, the idea of like having to tell the user to like hold a button on the device just to make it reset itself to be able to do a firmware update was a deal breaker. But that's only a deal breaker if you require the ability to reflash the board and do updates. If I, if it was the old school days where that wasn't an option, you just have to make the thing as good as you damn can and then deal with it, right? Now, personally, I am happy that I've been able to iteratively improve the tools, because it means that I can come up with features that I wouldn't have ever thought of before, before building it. People suggest stuff, and it's really cool to add that in. And of course, bug fixes as well, because I'm not perfect. But it is kind of funny to think about. I'm also now too warm, much like most Intel CPUs. Hello, Harry. How you doing, man? How's things? Wait. Um. Da, 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 da. If I were a major shareholder currently, I'd be very off put right now, especially with the witch hunt going across YouTube. I would say witch hunt is the wrong word because it's facts. And benchmark results. I get your take on it and agree, but bad business move. Yeah, I don't know, man. As I having written the script for tomorrow's video, I one of the things that I mentioned is that it's not, this isn't a good thing for us as the consumers. Like, yeah, there's kind of a bit of like Schadenfreude, enjoying the sort of the downfall of what has been on occasion the almost predatory business practices at times, and the sort of the fall of the reigning king. Like, there's a bit of Schadenfreude to that, but at the same time, like, the reason that we're in this position is because AMD was on death's doorstep for quite a while before the Hail Mary that was Ryzen, right? And Ryzen is what kicked Intel back into gear, but Intel sat on their ass for a decade because they didn't have competition. Do you think AMD is going to be any different? We need competition to have them, be competitive with each other, to push each other to make better stuff for us, and not just rest on their ass. Not just charge us increasing fees over time because they can. Because there isn't someone who's making a better product that they can sell for cheaper. This isn't good. We need Via back. If those of you who don't know, there were only ever 3 companies that had a license for x86 processors. Which actually, I should answer Lucas' question, but Via, I can't remember. The last time that I looked, Via was either still making stuff in China or had been bought up by someone. Maybe someone can look and tell me. And Lucas' question was, how long do you think it'll be before we're gaming on ARM on PC? I don't think we'll be gaming on ARM on PC on Windows. Let me put it that way. I think that Microsoft's efforts in creating an ARM for Windows have been pretty mediocre. Now, is that because there just hasn't been like, it's a bit of a chicken and egg situation, because is Windows for is Windows for ARM naff because there aren't any ARM CPUs in enough population for Microsoft to justify doing any development on it, or is it terrible because like they've not made any ARM CPUs because there's no software support? Like, yeah. But yeah, I have a sneaking suspicion that it's we will, if we do move to ARM for desktops, it won't be on Windows. I mean, to be fair, I'm already, close enough to the edge to be considering moving to Linux, even for gaming. With having experienced what it can be like through the Steam Deck, I don't know, man. With a nicely curated experience like the Steam Deck, it's been all right, you know. Mm-hmm. He thinks Intel will be bringing out a new chip in 6 months after seeing how great these chips are. New chip in 6 months, I agree with. How great? No. Assetto Corsa works on Steam Deck now. Nice. Gotta try that. Wonder how. What's the performance like? Is 22H2 still in beta? 24H2 still in beta, and is AMD any better on it? So 24H2, no. Yes. No. I think 24H2 might be rolling out. But yeah. I mean, essentially says that at least for Ryzen it's slower than 22H2 Windows 10, which, to be fair, not that surprising. And thank you very much. 30-day challenge. Not yet. Yeah. Looks like Via's still plodding along. Nice. AMD can smile, put up prices, and claim it's inflation. Like a lot of people. But kinda. I feel like Intel pay Microsoft to not do much investment. I mean, while I wouldn't be surprised to find that out, I think Microsoft are incompetent enough on their own to... Alex, you would have had to, like, Microsoft Beta is the insider previews. If you have not downloaded it through the insider preview channels, then it is no longer in beta. Damn it. I'm not a Microsoft hater. I'm kind of indifferent to all that kind of thing, but Microsoft feels played out. Windows 11 hasn't gone over well, and nothing they do seems to fix it. Well, I think, as I detailed and actually in my like Microsoft please stop doing this video, I want to like Windows, but they just make it so damn hard. Their behavior has only been increasingly hostile towards their own users, extracting us for every bit of data and penny we can get. The Windows 11 setup process is disgusting, because bearing in mind that this whole setup process is intended for you to be using it once when you've like just bought a computer, like you've just spent potentially thousands on a new computer, and then the very first thing that you see is, hey, do you want to pay us some more money for Office? No? What about a cheaper package for Office? No? What about the game subscription we have? No? What about the cloud subscription we have? No? Oh, well, we're just going to have to take all your data then. Okay, thanks, bye. Yeah. And then, yeah, the Copilot Plus crap, too. Microsoft single-handedly support almost the entire aftermarket malware and defense software industries. Like constantly providing the fodder. If you use Rufus, you can exclude all the annoying stuff. Yes, but the vast, vast, vast majority of Windows installs are not installed through Rufus. They're installed at the factory for whatever laptop or desktop manufacturer you're buying from. And by default, that stuff's turned on. And so, well, it's all well and good us saying, oh yeah, you can use this like custom thing if you have a spare USB stick and the time and effort and knowledge to learn and understand and then execute. Like, you have to think of the people who are not as savvy when it comes to the tech world, because those are the people who are being exploited the most. You know, us tech nerds, yeah, we know how to fix it. We know how to ignore it. We know how to open command prompt and type in bypass NRO, right? Like, we can work that sort of stuff out. But your nan, your uncle, your tech illiterate brother, I don't know, like those people are going to be exploited by this. And shit, even the like, oh, do you want to back up your files? Wow, that sounds great. Yes, please. Except they only give you 5 gigabytes of free data, and then they get to blast you with warnings about how you're running out of space and you need to pay them for a subscription. Hello, yet another user. Sorry I didn't say hello earlier. I did see you pop in. Know how I can download a new GPU? Yeah, download gpu.com. Please don't. I don't know what that is. Please don't go there. Yeah, no. You can download one by going on eBay and buying one. Yes, some pre-builts do. Certainly a lot of bloatware. Joe just had a police come up to the car and ask what I'm doing, waiting at the dentist. And he said you had to check because you're in a blacked out car. Nice. Not a valid IP, mate. Oh, thank God. I mean, someone can buy it. Oh, shit. Fair play, Joe. Even if you pay for Office, they still take your data. That too. Do you ever think Linux will take over the desktop? Well, it's been the year of the year of Linux for about 2 decades now, hasn't it? It is a possibility. The fact that Chromebooks exist is quite a clear example of that, because those are just Linux. But the caveat, and I think Chromebooks provide a great example of this, is that Chrome OS purposefully simplifies the user experience. Now, they do that by making it basically online only and Google only, which is not a good thing for your your data, your privacy, and your user experience in the long term. But that sort of system is how you get more mass adoption. If you look at why things like Android and iOS are so popular, it's because they are ridiculously easy to use and to interface with, and that sort of simplicity, I think, is why Chrome OS is used in schools, used in like a lot of those sorts of low knowledge places and applications. And Windows is essentially just used in a desktop, in a like office and like gaming, or productivity or uh, recreation sort of space. In the recreation space, uh, having used the Steam Deck and Proton and whatnot, we're getting mighty close to that being just like pretty easy to do, and with enough adoption, like the game engines will start natively porting or supporting Linux, no problem. So cool. But then on the Office front, I think it's a bit of a harder battle because the purpose of a computer in an office setting is to be as low friction as possible, and having to train people on how to use a different system is an expense that a lot of companies won't want to endure. Um, and there's also a lot of what in the tech world we call technical debt, or in the programming world. Basically, there's a lot of like custom software that's written that only works on Windows because it's only meant to do one very specific thing for this one very specific company, and there's a very good chance that it uses it is not a portable application in the porting sense rather than the moving sense. Um, and so to recreate those applications is again another expense that I don't think a lot of companies are going to want to push for. Um, LibreOffice is good enough for me, but I understand that people might need actual Office for tasks like spreading macroviruses. um, when I say software, like when I say uh, Windows specific software, I don't necessarily mean Office. There are quite a few pretty good Office counterparts. Um, some are likely, a bit more limited. Like some might just need actual Excel rather than Google Sheets or LibreOffice. I can't remember what LibreOffice's tool names are, or OpenOffice. That's still a thing. But I more mean like the custom bit of like payroll software that your company might have that you know looks up some files in Active Directory and uses an access database table to store like it's that sort of crap that probably wouldn't port directly to Linux, and so um, uh, yeah, I think there's a lot of limitations there. I use WPS Office. Nice. Dark pattern BS. That's true. Um, I'm still hanging on to WordPad. Nice. Um, I still use Office occasionally, and Google Sheets and Google Docs for the most part, anyway. Um, did I miss anything? Free Office is what I use. Basically, Microsoft Office clone in terms of UI. Nice. I like Notepad and Windows. Simple, no spelling, no tabs, no nonsense. Then WordPad is for more heavier stuff, and Word for formatting. Then they effed it all up. Well, the thing is that I kind of like, so I've used Notepad++ for a long time. And so I quite like having the tabs in the new Notepad. So yeah. Some of the websites or suppliers use only work on Edge or Chrome, not even Firefox works or Opera. Interesting, Opera didn't work because Opera, at least nowadays, is just Chrome. Yeah, no, these are Microsoft activation scripts. User agent spoofing, yeah. Yeah. Although the only problem with user agent spoofing is that Cloudflare detects it and it freaks out. uh, yeah. Two of the sites at work require Internet Explorer in 2024. It's cray cray. At least it can be run in under Edge in IE mode. Uh, yeah. So the thing is that which got that's the sort of thing that I'm talking about when it comes to technical debt and companies not updating stuff. Like all of those websites that only work in Internet Explorer in 2024, that's the sort of thing that you can't get companies to rewrite, or if you wanted to swap them to Linux. Like obviously not the website itself, but if they can't update a website to use a browser like that has been discontinued for a decade, like if that is their limitation, like if they won't spend the money to do that, they will not spend the money to upgrade all of the tiny little bits of software and scripts and stuff that people over the course of possibly 3 decades of IT infrastructure at their company have made. So yeah, they're not going to swap to Linux. Yeah, I worry about their back end. They used Telnet until 2022. At least that part is on SSH now. What was it? I watched a great. Well, actually, I watched several great DEF CON speeches. There've been some great ones this year, including the one about iPhones hacking and the Ace chip from Stack Smashing. Anyway, I watched a different one about WPAD, which is the reverse proxy or proxy configuration. Anyway, the this one guy bought a bunch of WPAD domains because basically the way that the WPAD scheme in like Windows or whatever, or actually many devices works, is that it tries to get the proxy configuration from WPAD dot, subdomain dot domain dot TLD, and then like slash whatever WPAD dot dat, or it's a configuration file. And then if it can't find that WPAD configuration file at that, it strips off the subdomain. But the problem is that there's a bug that means it also strips off the full domain so that it just goes to wpad.tld. So it'll go to wpad.com, wpad.nl, wpad.dk. And so this Danish guy bought wpad.dk and 5 other domains where he rented the .eu one. And he got 100,000 requests a day to those domains. Now, luckily, he's a white hat in this what you call it context, and so he just sends a HTTP error, no problem. But he could certainly have set that up to be, a malicious man in the middle, and yeah, it might look like there's some other domains that are doing that, and it's a bug that Microsoft still hasn't fixed 25 years later. I'm just gonna learn COBOL and become rich. Do you know what? There's a reason why IBM mainframes are still being used at places like Visa and all of the airlines. Technical debt. Yeah. Here's telling my partner to use anything that's not easy peasy is like pulling teeth from the tastiest devil. Fair. Legit question. Any tips to stop my keyboard double typing or not registering a key press, wireless mode, not Bluetooth? Good question. Is it specific keys or is it all keys? The same way firmware vendors leave dummy keys in their prod releases, example websites are left in. Yeah. On the domain thing, Bonzi Buddies domain has been bought for that reason too. I don't know what that is, but fair enough. Specific keys, M, N, spacebar, etc. Usually the lower part. Interesting. Essentialist, you're more familiar with keyboards than I am, so feel free to jump in if you have any ideas. Off the top of my head, a couple of suggestions. It could be the key switches themselves. It could also be the PCB. Either a cold solder joint, which can kind of be a bit flaky, possibly even a failing capacitor or diodes. And it could also just be like physical damage to the PCB that, especially if it's maybe like not supported well inside and it's like rubbing on something, over time could be a thing. But yeah. I think this. I mean, it depends if you. Funny things if you use it wired, no issues at all. Well, that's even more interesting. I would still kind of. I would. Actually, what keyboard is it? Who's it made by? Oh, it's the Newfie one. Nice. Do you have the dongle for it on your desk, or is it plugged into the back of your computer? In a lot of, especially a lot of mice, there isn't a separate Wi-Fi or there isn't a separate radio. It's just the standard microcontroller that does it. Sorry, Ish. It's actually plugged into the front ports, closer to the keyboard. Interesting. I think all signs point to it's the wireless connection then. I mean, like I said, the there are plenty of potential reasons for the key switches or the PCB to be the fault. It could also be something kind of ridiculous, like when it's running on battery power, it might be either like going into sleep mode, like might be a bug in the firmware, or it might just be like the dip. A small voltage drop under current load, basically. which wouldn't necessarily be present in a non-current limited supply from the USB port. But yeah. To be fair, I have the router quite close to the PC in the same room and another wireless 2.4 dongle for the mouse. Yeah? Thanks, Ish. Yeah, there could be interference. Yeah, it might be a case that you try moving the dongle around as well, just to see if if it's on like the top ports that are on the top of the case, but the back ones, or if you've got a little USB extender cable, you can try putting it closer and see if that helps, and if it does, then make a more permanent solution. But yeah. I have unfortunately not been very well in the guts this week either. And it's taking a toll. Oh. Did I miss anything? Bonzi Buddy was a purple monkey to basically be your assistant, but it turned out to be spyware. Nice. Take it to a mountain. There might be simpler ways. Oh dear. I just opened the stream chat to see what was posted, and it was ish. And then I see the post from Essentialist. Nice. So Randy, when are you gonna get a battery bank to sponsor you? I mean, I could use a power up. uh, yeah, no. I, the description of ADHD is being driven by a motor. Maybe it should be charged by by a battery bank. There are quite a few. I would kind of like one of those portable battery banks. But yeah, I'm yet to have any of them offer me one. I think technically I had I was invited to I think it was Anchor with their power station event, but it was in London, and I'm disabled. Quite disabled in fact. So yeah, I wasn't able to attend, and then they haven't. I said I'd love to check one out when you got review samples, but that never happened. So I do have a 3D printer coming from Elegoo. I bought the original Mars, and that's what I did a lot of the printing for the cases, like the response time tool cases with. But I have I've been offered the 5 Ultra Max Pro, whatever it's called. So yeah, I've taken it. I've also got a Corsair keyboard that launches next Friday or next Thursday. I may or may not have a video next Friday. We'll see. And yeah, I also have an Ergodox 76, I think. I've got an AOC OLED in, which I'm looking forward to checking out, but have not had the time because Intel. Yeah, and then I have like a ridiculously expensive controller to go out. That video is already done. It just needs to go out. In fact, I have like 3 videos done, and just like waiting to go out. Yeah. Ergodox 76 didn't really like split boards. Well, I've never tried one, so when they offered, I was like, yeah, all right, let me have a go. Electric Rolls Royce. What's this we're coming to? Well, the thing about the electric Rolls Royce is that isn't that exactly what a Rolls Royce should be? Like, isn't an electric isn't an electric powertrain exactly what like Rolls Royce is like made for? Like their whole thing has been making the engine as like quiet and non-existent as possible, to the point where they remove the rev gauge because it is superfluous to the experience of driving or being in a Rolls Royce. So the whole thing of it being electric is really the pinnacle of what Rolls Royce should be. And let's face it, who's being driven more than 50 miles in a Rolls Royce, or who is driving a Rolls Royce more than 50 miles? Because if you have Rolls Royce money, you have travel by plane money, and normally travel by your own plane money, or at least chartered plane money. So the range really stops mattering real fast. I think the only thing is that the Rolls-Royce Spectre, I think it is more like the Wraith rather than the Phantom. The Phantom is the one that you get driven around in. The Wraith is the Ghost. I think it's the Wraith. The Wraith is the one that you drive around in. Like, it's basically a two-seat versus a limo. And the Spectre is more like the two-seat one, if I remember rightly. So it is more you drive it yourself, which I think kind of defeats the purpose of a Rolls Royce, really. The purpose of driving a Rolls Royce is the opulence. But, you know. A fully electric Maybach. Well, they just take an EQS and bit up a bit. Which, considering an EQS is a £150,000 car, TechteamGB has a private jet. I have flown a plane once. I have one question about the iPhone. Well, I can attempt to answer it, but I don't own any Apple products. I can try, but feel free to ask, and maybe one of the people in the YouTube chat will also know. Yeah, go for it. Expensive controller. Ask me on Discord. Is the iPhone SE 2020 good in 2024? Well, because I'm using it now. Ah, I see. Well, the little that I know about Apple phones, I think that's it's a good value choice. Apple's software support is normally pretty good, so you should still be getting operating system and security updates and stuff for a little while yet. But also, if you're already using it, you're here for validation. So yeah, it's great, man. Nice, good job. Look, I've been doing this for almost 13 years. I know what people want. Maybe buy an R4 from OT. um, well, since they ruined the S4, yes. Um, and Essentialist says, my mum owns one, wait for the 2024 SE if you don't already have the 2020. But it already does, so meh. Yeah, it's fine. There's a bit of a delay between like what happens, what you see in chat, and then what shows up in this chat, and then when by the time you see that. Oh, I have a headache. um, it's been a pretty busy week, especially with the Intel launch, and me only getting the chips. I think I got the Intel one. Was it? I think I got it on. No, I think it came on Monday. Yeah, I think it. Oh no, maybe it came on Friday, but the Cyberpower stuff came on Monday. So yeah, I've only really had a couple of days. So no CS2. No. um, I didn't think it'd be such a difference between Audi and other badge cars on the same tier. It kind of is. Although there's normally a price difference to match. I recently upgraded to a 4070 Ti. My PC started turning off with the GPU fans going up full blast. Long story short, PSU was 50 watts below recommendation. Upgraded, problem stopped. Nice. If you want to know, it's not necessarily because it's 50 watts below the recommendation. It's that when the graphics card load up, the all of the capacitors in the power stages all fill up at once, and that causes a spike in current. And if your power supply is not sufficiently well overrated for your graphics card, it trips the overcurrent protection in the power supply and turns off. So yeah, fun times. It's been a problem, especially in the last couple of generations. I mean, it happens a lot anyway. But when you're talking about 4070 Ti that can do 300-400 watts at peak, yeah, it starts to be a problem. Weekly, you have no idea what I have to deal with on a daily basis. Um, I haven't had a day without pain in like 5 years. I think I'm on like 7 medications a day. I was trying to come up with a joke calling you a gooner earlier. Last night, maybe. I think it was last night actually. I couldn't quite formulate the structure. Thanks for the laugh, fish. Married, no, together 11 years. And no, she's a help to my life, not a hindrance. I wouldn't I wouldn't manage without. uh, essentially, I'm aware. Why do you play it then? I mean, yeah. That describes a lot of competitive games, though, which is why I play Satisfactory. Though I've basically finished, so I haven't played it in a while. Well, I've been too busy to play it, or too drained. Used to play Rainbow Six, you'd know. Oh yeah, no, I know. Yeah, I mean, I never played it competitively. Play Factorio. I think if I were to buy Factorio, that would be the end of the channel. I will see you again soon, Yana User. Good to have you. Thanks for joining. The children yearn for the mines, indeed. See you, Simon. Can't say I've heard of that one actually. Darkest Dungeon 2. But if it's a factory game, I'll probably like it. Factorio is the only game I can think of that went up in price over the years. What? There was once upon a time recently a game that was in early access, but they're raising the price a couple years later. I can't remember what the game is called, or like what game it is. But there is a game that has been in early access for ages, and now that they're releasing a massive patch with all the new features, they're increasing the price. I can't remember what it was. I think I saw it on Reddit. Um, no worries, John. Probably should go something useful. Keep on not perishing. I'm trying so fucking hard. Maybe try Eden Crafters. Mixture of Planet Crafter and Satisfactory. Oh yeah, Planet Crafter. I'll take a look. I think I'm gonna leave it there as well. I am tired. um, I will endeavor to get the 265k comparison video out tomorrow. That will be pulling some overtime. But yeah, make sure you check that one out. And yeah, see you next week for a stream. And yeah.